track number 8 on Anna's new album, Bone Born Bomb, is called Swimming Sleeping Tokyo. Mouthful out the way, let's get into this. Basically, yeah, we're doing a track by track listen through to every single song on the brand new album, but this song comes off of the back of really an album that it's got a brilliant flow. I mean, it starts off super high energy, but then it's slowly from Lonely Rockin' Robot onwards, it just slowly kind of calms down a little bit more to something a little bit more introverted, and then we get a really introverted song with track number 7, Only the Two of Us Left in the World. Yeah, it's a really sort of beautiful change in tone that this album's going through. Now, obviously, because we're doing the track by track to the songs that were released today, the brand new album songs, as a result, 5 of the songs of the 8 that we are up to now, I'd already heard before the album came out. But I must say, with that all being said, I am still really loving just the fact this album feels like an album. I went and sat and listened to those 4 tracks again just to sort of get the whole flow. I'm imagining that Swim in Sleeping Tokyo, from the name and everything, is going to be something of a more chilled out song. But yeah, this album is flowing beautifully. I can't wait to see where it goes next. But we're going to find out now with this next track. I hope you're enjoying this as much as I am. As I mentioned, there's the playlist is in the description below if you want to see all my reactions in order. But so far, this is a brilliant album. Really living up to all my expectations. Although I guess I should have known that considering how many of the songs came out prior to the album. But still, anyway, let's check out this next song. Do you know the only thing that's making me feel sad? We're getting towards the end, and I'm starting to be like, oh, we've only got like 4 more new songs to listen to. I'm going to be sad when we've heard them all. But anyway, let's enjoy it. First reaction to this song, Swim in Sleeping Tokyo. Okay. Oh, it's going to go Red Hot Chili Peppers then. Oh, I like that. Reminding me a little bit of the song off the first album. Oh yeah, no, I know this song is reminding me of that. Oh, nice step up, then back down again. I'm loving the development there. It's like peekaboo but happy. It's like a happy peekaboo. That song was pretty high impact as well, but man. It's got like a soulful feel. This feels really like positive. That funky minimalism. Working perfectly. The right things in the right place. Not too much. I love that. It's a nice little change there to bring up the bass. Building it up. That simple EDM bass is really interesting, very deep. So much thickness to it. Do you know what? That's strangely beautiful. For a song that's obviously big, head-banging, high impact, that's quite... It does feel like a ballad. it plays out like a ballad. A lot about that beat, the real heavy but sort of very sort of sparse, simple beat reminded me. I didn't quite get it at first. I was like, it reminds me really badly of a song, but I can't tell which one it was. And then suddenly it reminded me, Peekaboo, from one of Anna's very early singles. But that's quite a dark sounding song with a little bit of screaming and everything in it. But it's got exactly that similar beat. And then the da na na. That feels like a direct callback to that melody. And this does feel like a sequel to Peekaboo, but the weird thing is that it's built on the same foundation, but the end result is so wildly different. Whereas that was kind of like a frustrated, slightly angry sounding song with a sort of a gleeful madness to it. This is quite a delicate, beautiful song. I was saying when we were looking at the track list a moment ago, that this felt very much like it followed on. Where's the track list gone? I lost the track list somehow. Oh wait, there it is. Drop down. There we go. I was saying this felt very much to me like it was following on from quite a beautiful, slightly grungy, emotional song, very introverted song. So I was thinking it was going to be in a similar feeling. Now, just if you purely just take that top layer and you ignore, if you just listen to like sort of the guitar and just the vocals and ignore like the big bass and the big drum line underneath, this could just be kind of like a beautiful, summery kind of like, again, very introverted feeling, but like a ballad. It's got sort of a beautiful, wistful vibe to it, but then it's added to by that beat, which just so beautifully goes there. Whereas you'd think like a big heavy beat under a song that's kind of got a wistful nature, you'd think that the end result would be a juxtaposition. But because the guitar's just got that little bit of funk to it, a little bit, sort of a ballad funk, in the same way you can have reggae ballads, sort of a ballad funk to the guitar, just nicely bridges the gap. And then that heavy beat kind of increases, gives a little bit more feeling of, if you like, celebration, the sort of the joy, the sort of muted, calm, quiet joy of the song is elevated by that boom, that beat, that heaviness, that impact in the background. So you're not quite like full on headbanging, but you're just sort of bobbing your head and like, yeah, this feels good. It's allowing the blood to pump while your head's going, yep, these chords, these notes, they feel nice and pleasant, and the beat's giving it a bit of energy. It marries together very well. This song is definitely amongst the simplest we've heard so far. It's a very simple song, not a huge amount going on. Even the bass was quite minimalist. Although, in all fairness, the reason why the bass was minimalist here was because of the fact that they were going for kind of like that EDM style bass. And again, I understand that you could have had a walking jazzy bass line underneath this, but I think the idea was that most of the music was just happening almost again like in that ballady way, just the sort of guitar and the vocal layering. So you didn't want too much thickness in this. You wanted it to have a similar feeling to a gentle summery song, but then to have that impact is kind of done by the top end of the song. The brighter sounds are quite thick and melodic, but the bottom end is very sort of like punchy, like kick, bass line, bass line, stop. Those little gaps is kind of what means that the underneath of the song doesn't sound too constant, too thick, and doesn't muddy it up or make it sound too, overwhelming. It's allowed to have a little bit of space to breathe at the bottom. The bottom's just there to give it a little bit of punch, a little bit of something to sort of make you bob your head and give you a little bit more of that, like I say, the blood flowing. This was a really well-balanced song, really well-balanced. Definitely does feel like an album track, I will say that. It's still catchy. I mean, again, I keep on saying this, if you were to take this and give this, if this was to be a song that was released by another artist or the first single by a new artist, I'd be like, that's great. But just considering how strong the body of work on Anno's album is, Anno's albums seem to be, or are, by comparison to that, this wouldn't be counted as a single. In fact, I think if Peekaboo came out now, it wouldn't be a single. It was a single at the time because it was very early on in her career, and it's a great song. But by comparison to the things she's released subsequently, I think even Peekaboo would now be considered more of an album track if it were to come out now. And similar to this, this is a much more minimalist, straightforward song. So this is definitely an album track. But I love the feel of it. And again, you need strong album tracks. You need songs that are those ones where they're not so much about being spectacular. They're just about being effective, good melody, good feeling. It just feels great. It feels different from the other songs on the album and just takes you from one mood of the song prior to the next mood of the song that comes afterwards. And yeah, the next song that comes afterwards is going to be Shakai no Mado. So we're going to jump into that next. Anyway, you know what it is. As always, get in the comments. Tell me what you thought. Hope you enjoyed this as well. And then hopefully I'll see you very soon in the next one of these videos when we do check out track 9. But until then, for now, I really enjoyed this. I'm enjoying this whole album. But for now, ciao, ciao.